Okay, good evening. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us here. I'm Alfonso Zian-Sot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Let me make sure here the microphone is okay. We say good evening and welcome. Today is Wednesday. It's All Things Considered right here on the Diaspora Informative News Magazine, Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Very shortly, the analysts will be here and we're going to have a national conversation, news making headlines in the country. This is the house, is a center of gravity at this point in Liberia. The act of defiance by the higher court of the land, the Supreme Court, despite of the court stay in order, the renegade and disgruntled lawmakers mutinying, political mutinying. That's how I'm going to characterize them because there's a process involved. And as far as we are concerned, that has been defied. So they are challenged the higher court of the land, what it all means. Are we getting to what one could refer to as constitutional crisis in the land? Where are the political leaders? No one seems to have control over what is going on. Joseph Boyka, George Weah, and all. Helen Johnson Sirleaf came in and did a salad dressing and throwing in a lot of riddles, speaking in a specific tone. We'll try to decode all of that. We are reaching out to some of the lawmakers on the other side of the aisle to have them heard. In the meanwhile, the conversation is continuing, and some have consented to appear right here on the Diaspora Informative News outlet. It's a potential crime being committed LACC is now looking propent into what appears to be a period bribery. We will wait and see. Very shortly, the analysts will be here and we will cite and scramble over all of us making news headline. Where is the leadership? This is complete mutiny that is ongoing by these laws maker. I'm wondering whether somebody will just step in coming from those gap as well and say, let us run that and withdraw them because they are not doing their work. We pay them. And I hope that these people will pay a huge price. But it is difficult to determine because the electors in Liberia themselves, they are hard to crack. Welcome to the show. If this is the first time, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome, my man, Gita Hard Talk. That's G. Michael Gilman from the land of Detroit. Good to have you here, Alice. Good to have you, Emmanuel Tiet, DJ Lecam Power, Grace, and all of you guys here. We're going to be having a conversation here. Representative Ellen Atto, who is a strong supporter of allied of Speaker Fanatic Kofa, is expected to be my guest this Sunday. District number 3 represented in my own land as well. The cat is expected to eat its own baby. Representative Jacob Debbie will be having a conversation. We did reach out to Gal Jeremiah Silkant, who we all heard some of them to whatever alleged bribe, but I do not want to preempt. I would like to see and hear it directly from their mouth, the justifications, even though it's a 6 point, they are not getting to the numbers, so they are trying to pivot in different direction. We'll wait and see. We are reaching out to all to give them the benefit of the doubt to have a conversation here. I am Alfonso Zienso right here this evening. Stay tuned. Let's take this quick commercial break, and I will be right back.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers. 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services, and your friends in business. Hello, listeners. This is Mazula, the lover boy. I'd like to invite you to this exciting program. It is called Dancing for Jesus. It is intended to play beautiful inspirational music to help you turn your life to God. Join me on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our way of showing appreciation to God for the good things.
Good evening. The analysts are now assembling cross-country right here in the USA, other parts of the land. So let's see here. We're going to get them in here very shortly so that we can get this conversation going. Just bear with me a little bit. Just make a little quick adjustment here, and we will get the program going to right here. here this evening. Okay, let's see. This is the house that is spinning our heads, giving a headache. So let me bring in Jerry Bacon Washington. Call him Jerry Bacon Washington. He's a supporter of President Joseph Newman Boyka. Everything Joseph Boyka is doing is correct. That's Jerry in his word. Oh, the Washingtons are coming from all angles here this evening. Some from the Pepper States of Garden State of New Jersey. They are now they take the state-owned broadcasting corporation to be the radio boycott. This is ridiculous, unbelievable. My own Samson, that's not surprise. He broke down his party, Liberty Party. He's now seeking refuge with Unity Party. What the world we in? Let me bring in my co-host, the two independent voices here. All the rest, they are Boishins and Boishins, and that of the Liberty Party to remnant. They are all non-supporting Joseph Newman Boyka. Let me break in my guy. First here, Dr. Mali Jones is here is one of the independent voices, is our educational analyst at the Library of Public Radio. Dr. Mali, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, CEO.
Good. So let's go to Garden City. The Washingtons are here tonight in huge number. Trust me, they're gonna be the Washingtons are here. They're gonna be a hectic number.
So is there a delegation?
Oh yeah, let me move it one year so you can see why your close are. Let me move it so they will see people now they're on the State Broadcasting Corporation. Can you imagine? Let me bring in Jerry Bush and Boyka Jr. right here in the Ocean State of Rhode Island. See? Dr. Jones, look at all of them. Look at their faces. How they look at their skin.
The delegation is arriving.
Our money. Here you go. Our people, our money. Jerry didn't join it. Mr. Bacon, good evening. Welcome. Jerry, are you hearing me?
Wherever you are, listen. I hear you. No, I can hear you.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Wherever you are listening to us, we say welcome. Fasten your seatbelt. We got a lot of bone share tonight that we'll be sharing.
You got to be ridiculous again. You see that as so act of being ridiculous. Why you come and share here? Let's go to Garden City where our senior analyst Koto Jala Balayan / ELBC Washington USA analyst.
Whatever. All the titles.
So Dr. Joe, these people, my understanding, they are brought in Jerry Bacon now too. So they left you out, they left me out, they left Wilton Ketter out. Cece Goya said he just popped in for 35 minutes, but guess what? He's already, the Liberal has managed to hold him up now. So I'm waiting to see whether they made a mistake to send that link. Oh, the day they send that
Good
link.
evening to the people of Liberia. Good evening. Good evening, Liberian people. We are here to discuss the Liberian issues.
Okay.
They are, I know that Rhode Island politics, we're not here for that.
Oh, no, that may on your own. I can tell that.
We're here for the pro bono job. That's why we are signed for.
What kind of bono?
You heard her say pro bono.
It's pro bono. I'm not getting a cent from anybody. And the only thing I'm doing is Liberian people's job. That's all I'm here to do.
We've been here in the thing a long time. Is it Jerry? They say.
I wish I would get it. You know you enjoy some, right?
Yeah.
Jeff, okay. Let me get it. You enjoy some.
That one part, if I wait for that one, what will carry me? Okay, guys, good evening.
Why are you saying that? Don't say that.
Today is Wednesday, is all things considered. Look, the act of defiant Mr. Bach, I'm on a serious note, Carter Galabalayan, Dr. Jones, the act of defiant. People, the lawmakers, now the first branch of government, is challenging the other branch of government, even despite of the Supreme Court. So, you know what, we're going to do our business. But this is all things considered, so I will go into your political playbook and see what you have put into place, what you have cataloged that is so much important. You want to share with us, the audience, and we can have that piece of the pie. But Dr. Jones, let's hear you first. First come, first serve. After all, you are my co-host. So all of these people, they are the liberal folks. So if we want to have an inclusive conversation, we'll let them talk. Other than that, they will just be here to be a UN observer here this evening. So we can decide on that in our own test group. But Dr. Jones, on a serious note, let's see what is in your folder.
Well, actually, anyway, good evening to Mr. Barco and Madam Koto Jalabalayan. And it's like the rescues is now opening the olive oil bottle, and it's like everyone making olive oil is a miraculous oil, it changed your face. But anyway, we'll provide the details later on.
But the president just did a report. He will spring water on us. So what do you expect?
I don't want to go to. I would never want to travel with the president. The president took speaker to the report, and they overtrained the speaker. Are you kidding me?
I know. But actually, I moved into a very different territory yesterday and today. I've been looking at our very mineral deposit in Liberia, and I begin to do some projection, 15, 10 year, 20 year from now. I think things going to be quite difficult for Liberians in our country, because it's like the people are taking our minerals away, unmercifully in our country. So I was even looking at the thing of we even placing a moratorium on some part of our resources for now, and deal with some part for now, because even the issue of the timber, the issue of reforestation, these things are not even happening. And 10, 15, 20 years from now, I don't know. Okay. And I don't know what is the dividends coming from this thing. I don't know what it's doing in Liberia, apart from the revenue we are collecting. Yes. And this is my concern tonight.
Okay, what a good one here. Trying to look at the mineral and natural resources of the country, if they are being used wisely or misused, and who is doing that, the danger that hangs over all as a people, as a nation. What a fascinating one here. Let's go to Garden Set It. Koto, good evening again. Welcome. Let's hear you. You've been actively involved into what is happening inside Liberia, both on the national state broadcasting corporation. Let's hear you. What are you considering this evening?
Well, as you know, we all fought to put this government into power, and one of the major things that I have been advocating for is the management of our resources, like my brother Dr. Jones have said, Dr. Marty rather, and looking at the launching today of the performance management and compliance system, which was launched today by the president. He has talked about it, but today he decided to launch it. I think it was today, if I'm not mistaken. This is something that I've long yearned for. I know people will try to say, oh, it's just a mere thing, but the good thing about it is that some of us still have our voices, that we can still make our voices heard. And my presence at the LTN is not in vain, because that was some of the major advocacy I was on, and to hear the president, putting it up today, I was like, yes, that's victory. Sometimes people think that it's just every money that has to be put in your pocket, but if you have money put in the rest of the people's pockets, at least your pocket will be resting a little bit, and I'm so happy of that.
Okay, So happy of that. I'm not sure what I'm happy, but if I maybe when the details come, then
Nothing will make you happy. Let's get into the details, then maybe you'll know what it is.
that's what I'm saying because the other one I just salad. I'm a country boy, country coming. I don't eat salad, so that salad dinner table is setting. I want to eat my rice, pan butter, fire coal, everything inside.
Whatever.
Let's hear you. What's happening in the back on war?
Well, democracy is working in Liberia. It is
Democracy?
working. Democracy is working in Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the first branch of government. No matter whether the majority bloc or the minority bloc are fighting to remove the speaker, and that's what democracy is all about. We are not on a battlefield. We are discussing issues that will affect the future of our country. And look, I'm enjoying it. To be honest with you, I read most of the things today. Supreme Court, the Supreme Court, the lower house, or the deputy speaker. These are history tomorrow. When we are gone tomorrow, people will sit and read these things. How do they people arrive at the issue? So let us fasten our seatbelt and see how it will play out. But democracy is working. That's what democracy is all about. We will now agree with one another, but we'll have different opinions, and that's what it's all about. And I said, Bamfo, that's what democracy is all about.
Oh, absolutely. Democracy, it comes in different forms and shape, and we allow the process to play out. We have our views, our opinions into it. Let's go to Dr. Mawes. He's instead of something different, putting it upside politics a little bit and giving a thought on the what could potentially be known years to come, the future of Liberia, what are the mineral to natural mineral resources are being managed, and if not, why, and what could be his recommendation. Dr. Mali, why you decided to go that way this evening?
Yeah, I decided to go that way because of three reasons. One, His Excellency is, from all indication, may have some sincere approach to how far he wants to take this country. And I see him getting very involved into so many other things, like just what Madam Balaya just named one of them anyway. But my question tonight is that I thought a government coming to Liberia now will start to look at something a bit differently. Because you see, our mineral resources, which are about 13 in number or more, but some of the major ones, like the timber, the iron ore, the diamond, and the gold, uh, I see that it has become a pattern all over Africa. The people just can't take the resources, the raw material, and take it whatsoever they take in there and process it, and maybe even turn it into some other thing that we are forced to buy in our various countries. So my question tonight was, don't you think it's about time since we decided to do things differently to compare some of the country or seek a partnership to get a processing plant in Liberia, especially for diamond and gold and possibly rubber, so that at least for the first time, because it's like it is clear on the wall, the people are taking the natural resources and coming back and leaving us, I will call it peanuts, actually. And they get a lot out of these things when they take them away. You see, and this thing continued to happen since independence. This thing continued to happen, even worse now. All right. So if we have come as a government and people in this dispensation, don't you think we should be beating the drum of a processing plant that will even give more employment to our people, that will even create a corridor where this time now we are processing these things and we are getting so many different things in rubber, so many different things in diamond, so many different things in iron ore that we can help, that can even help our nation development? Because, for instance, I was focusing more on the diamond today. B Mountain got a process. I don't know how many people already watching that. They have a helicopter that take the diamond, straight fly over the capital city, straight to RIA, and sometimes they go to Freetown and send the thing abroad.
How do you know? Before I bring in your colleagues, there's a
I
group
did a research today on B Mountain. Yes. And it was sad. Yes, it was sad when I saw that pattern, you know. And it's been going on for a long time.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, I'm curious here, doing your research, meaning you have gone in depth, and it's good to bring all of these things up because basically you are concerned about the growth of the economy, jobs should be created. I do agree. Having all of these establishments, there must be a processing center in the country that will alleviate all of these suffers and put food on the table of the people. But there are people that are involved must also make it happen. If they do not put their interest first. So, according to your research, like you were alluding to here, how long this process, this sort of flying mini road and not going through the process, they are not. It gets there is being done unknowingly to government, knowingly or unknowingly, so we do not know yet how long this thing been going on as far as you are concerned with your research.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, B Mountain have been operating in Liberia since Helen took over. In fact, it has been very active since Helen took over. Yes. But my concern here is this. We have got government representative at this site. So the question now is, are they really doing their job? And the question now is, why is it that the people are really taking, because the people are not only taking diamond, they come across other mineral resources, and they take these things. You see, they take these things. And since then, up to this time, I've been trying to also look at the loyalty they're giving to these people and what is going to government. Okay. Right? Okay.
Hold your peace. Let's get to God. We want to welcome Terry Collins, is our senior analyst based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and is here inside one of the Washington, but right now at this point in time, I don't think the Washington folks like him because he's been very vocal. So Jerry, the liberal progressive, cultural, they are not too friends with him, so which is okay. But Terry, good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So and Sis Cotto is a back on and your co-host.
Yeah, okay. Not yet that your co-host, Dr. J. Otavius Malice Sr. Don't just say your co-host.
Yeah, I said co-host, Dr. Malice.
So why we left the other names out? But I know these guys. The liberals always tell them when they come here, they walk it. That's okay. But good to have you here, Terry. Let me go to Cotto here. What we're going to do, let's see. Let's get Terry. Let's Terry be situated, and after Cotto chips in, or what Dr. Jones' point, then maybe settle in, and then we can get what he has on the table for us today. But Cotto, does he, Malik Jones, Dr. Jones, does he have a point?
Well, that's still on point because he said he made a research, and the thing is, I really do not have any knowledge about that and did it as a research.
This is ridiculous.
What I would think is that what I would think is this: that since he had made a research on it, I would really want for that research paper to be provided so that we can push forward, through the investigation of his allegations. What I would think is that these are some of the work that the people up there, our representatives and our senators, should be doing, making sure that his allegations, be checked fast, but yeah, we have then concern about what they can get personally. It's saddening that when I heard last night, how do they get money to sponsor their being in the hotel? And I could hear this representative saying, I'm working for 5,000 and I can afford to be in this hotel for this level of time I want to be. Not regarding that money that he's making is not his personal money. It is the Liberians people money. And the job he's supposed to be doing is not what he's doing. He is one of those that are supposed to be check fighting on issues of this nature. What company coming here, what the company impacts are making on the Liberian people's lives. But yet we do not hear issue of that. What we see every time they get into their house there is on personal issue, what they can achieve, what they can get, what commission they can be on, what committee head they can be. It is all I hear about.
I'm getting a lot of background noise. Level, is that you disturbing? You came to disturb my program tonight?
The man who over there writing, you don't see he showing his head to you. You don't see that one.
No,
The
no,
other
no,
one who
no.
quiet, not doing
No,
anything.
you brought your no. You brought your trouble. We're
You
quiet
came,
on this surface thing here.
we're very peaceful here, and as soon as you surface, disturbances start. So you are a prime suspect to this voting.
So as I was saying, it's so sad because this is very important. We have to see these institutions impact on the life of our people. It's very unfortunate that they are not addressing issue of such, but rather they are fighting among themselves. But I just want to combine what what Mr. Bacon have said. He said that this political battle is going on, which I agree. But what it does is it's opening the eyes of the Liberian people. I want to tell you people that after this, if they should have succeeded in taking off the speaker, what next will be happening is petitions will be going after the representatives that people are not qualified, are not satisfied with to root them off. Clearly, it's election, is politics, rather. The politics go to the higher levels. And every day we are being educated. When they shall see, yes, of course, then the Liberian people will get on their bike too. And they shall succeed also on their bike.
So quickly here, and if you can respond to that before I go to Terry and the Liberal Progressive to get their talking point. So your fear, your apprehension here, if they succeed, probably there will be other people will come to also call for the impeachment of the president. Is that where you going or what?
Well, if it come to the president and that's it, it can go to the senator. I'm telling you, it can go to anybody. It can go to anybody, and this is politics.
Okay.
If you want to play it, you play it.
Okay, so thank you so much.
I don't want to read anything off that anything can happen.
So what anything can happen. All right, I'm glad that you know that because that's what it's saying. So now it's Kofa town. Who knows from Kofa that Nyombi after Nyombi that the other man on the other side of the street there. Who knows? But let me go.
Why not the representatives too, or the senators too?
I'm speaking my opinion.
So that's why I say anybody. It can go to any of them.
Well, let me go to Terry, and then I go to Terry. Give us his talking point, the Liberal Progressive, and then we'll come to a background. And Terry, what's going on? The act of defiance is on. The guys are still holding their sections. They are not standing down. They're holding their ground tape. I wouldn't know what's going to be the end game. Yeah, you. Who's up?
Yeah, so I think that my computer is trying to put a volume on. But yeah, so I think what I was trying to understand is that there is something the guy's talking about, that there is no vote of non-confidence in the legislature or in the law. But I was reading something, and it is true that there is something called the motion of vote of non-confidence that can be posted in the speaker by colleagues of the legislature. It happened in the United States too. I think I was reading something on one John Bonner or something under John Bonner in 2016, who resigned because his colleagues from the Republican Party, had
From
a vote.
Ohio, former speaker.
Huh?
From
Is it
Ohio,
back?
former speaker. Go
Yeah,
ahead. No,
from
I have you out.
yeah. So there was a vote of non-confidence or 30 guys. I think they were in a majority from Republican because they said that he was compromising too much with Obama. He was agreeing with most of Obama policy, the Obamacare, all the kind of stuff. He was working with Obama instead of working in the interest of the Republican Party. So most of the things the Republican Party resisted, he was working with Obama to get it going. So the Republican removed from behind him, and there was a complete. His whole entire leadership couldn't function because these guys had a vote of non-confidence in him. And he saw the crisis because if he had not resigned, that means he was going to be depending on the vote of the Democratic Party in the House to help him. And it was not going to be correct for him. So he had to resign. So what we need to understand is that these things happen before. These things happen before. Yeah, I think so. These things happen before. There are precedents. There is a wrangling that goes on in legislative politics, and it happened in major democracy in the world. So we have to understand that these rules, even though the Constitution carry weight, but the rules that establish the legislature function have the preeminent dominance to determine results when it comes to political leadership, like speakership position, all of that, as we see going on in the House. The only thing I'm looking at is that there is a gossip that is saying that Fonati allegedly have given some money to UL guys to go on the street and protest tomorrow to go to RLG and try to obstruct the process. If that strategy hold, that could be a good strategy too to start the process and see how far it goes. Another gossip in another news also says that Gafwan is planning to send the budget to Speaker Kufa. So I think Labour are going to win on that one. So yeah, there are a lot of interplay going on. We hope to see what will happen in a few coming days. I thought that was called for discussion, but you guys can go ahead.
Okay, that's great. Let's hear the Liberal.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. So, and the rest of the panelists, including my own co-host, Jerry Bagan. Good evening to you as well. Let me just say this here, Mr. So. When we come to these political conversation in terms of engaging each other, we want to be truthful. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I may be ridiculous from time to time, but even with my ridiculousness, I'm always truthful. Let me say this. Whatever they call themselves, they are drowning. I told you that yesterday, and I'm saying it again. They are drowning. If these people are not careful, they will find themselves in Suriname. Where Suriname joined the Atlantic Ocean, that they will find themselves holding their conferences and whatever it is.
So who people are you?
Excuse me?
You just say people. Who? How do I know which?
I mean, they whatever they call themselves, the 7 Black, the Redeemer Black, or majority, whatever they call themselves, they got nothing. They do not have the Constitution on their side. And this is what I predicted, and I will say it again. President Bakai, the father of the nation, the one who respects the Constitution, the learned man, the highly educated man of the Republic of Liberia, and I consider him to be a PhD as far as I am concerned. I'm saying to you again, Mr. So, and rest of my colleagues here, President Bakai and the finance ministry will not trample on the Constitution. They will submit whether a toilet paper or whatever that comes from the executive, it going directly to Flantikofa. Flantikofa is not going to resign. These people with their political pressure, they will not succeed. Flantikofa will not resign. Any paper from any government agency, from any partners, international partner, they're not going to do business with them. They will do business with Flantikofa because they know we have a constitution.
Okay.
However, with all that said, Mr. So,
1 second. Somebody have a television to get in the background. Something is on. You can moderate the tone. Okay, good. Yeah, go ahead.
you gotta interrupt me because television is on. I'm a liberal. When I'm speaking, the people put their TV on for them to watch me. What make you think that what's wrong with
I
you?
was on. You get 30 seconds,
Well,
please.
I don't care. I have to educate you on that. So let me just go on. So, however, I said, Flantikofa, on the other hand, does not have the quorum to effect the changes or whatever the business that he got to carry on. That is the drawback. But these people, the majority black, they need to be taught civics lesson. They don't have that. As Sensei will correctly say, they don't know the inner working of the government. So they're gonna stay there and think that they're gonna continue with that. The letter, what's his name? Tomofala sent to them. It's not for them. Tomofala is doing it to cover himself because the law, the Constitution, interpreter of the Constitution, the Supreme Court is stepping in. So Fala is protecting himself legally. So these women that go around saying things, they got nothing, Mr. So the Constitution is on our side, and we're not going to resign. We will stay. These people will come back, and Flantikofa will rule the House of Representatives legally, and he will do things right. The good thing here about this whole saga is also have taught Flantikofa a lesson that if you're going to be involved in this thing, these are not play business. This, if you're not careful, you will be disgraced. And if Flantikofa come out of this, you will see that house will be clean because he's not going to fool around anymore. Thank you
very much. Let's go to Jerry Washington. Is here. He's got, and by the way, if you want to recognize co-host, Dr. Malley is the co-host. If you have in your show, you want to recognize Jerry Bacon as a co-host, that is okay. This is how you can cross the border. I just want to make that crystal clear.
You don't have to make a comment. I didn't ask for your comment. I didn't ask to validate my comment. I come out here and make my own statement, and it doesn't require you to come and rebut. What are you rebutting for? I said my co-host. It's my comment. Why are you gonna have to rebut it? You're looking for power. No, it is. You're looking for power. But tonight I read it.
What is it? What is that?
That nightmare, that a ghost. That a ghost.
Speaker.
That a ghost, you see? That a ghost. Tomorrow is a Halloween. It's a Halloween, so the ghost is already here. That a Halloween.
By the way, there's a nomination I put out there. Please make sure you share it. I rise to nominate if I can obtain a second CC Goya for speaker.
It's impossible because you are not resident of Liberia right now, so you cannot do that. So we cannot nominate you.
Okay.
He even get voting power anyway.
But it is that you have to be resident to be speaker, though. It's not in the Constitution.
Gentlemen, this is
no. They say you gotta live in Liberia 10 years prior to the so you are running. So you must live in Liberia 10 years prior
to be an elected official, not to be speaker.
Yeah, you gotta be a representative before you become a speaker.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
So don't confuse the people.
This is not a liberal show here, please. The night we're not on here, so please. Okay, Jerry Parker, let me hear you. I'm trying to change my battery here.
No,
go ahead.
I will talk to the the speaker fiasco issue later on, but that Mali brought something good. I think it need to be discussed. The land issue in Liberia is important, especially when it comes to our forestry, where people come and just take the land and go in my. First of all, it is time to start protecting our land system, our forestry. You know, like the Putu Mountain, all the mountains, the thing that should be a national forest where people will be. So that this is the land is restricted land. There should be no farming. And even if we take any farming from there and say, "Oh, you're not going to do farming," we'll have to protect. He says, "Honey, our people taking coal from the place." Maybe, I don't know, but every flight, as a former pilot, before you take a plane, you have to file your report. That's FAA. FAA require that. Even in Liberia, the Liberia aviation unit, before the plane can take off, you got to file.
Jerry, you used to fly?
I'm a pilot, yeah. I used to.
Oh, that would make it easier for me.
I used to, but I can't do it. I stopped. But anyway, the thing here is the goal living. Bless it. The goal living in Liberia, our German living in Liberia, before any plane that leave that country is supposed to fly or the pre-frame flight before they can leave the country. So if these things are not implemented, we can have all the laws on the book and they're not being executed. I mean, I don't know where we are. Because like you said, helicopter leaving and taking off from to Freetown or to Ivory Coast. Where is the pre-planned flight? Because every plane that leaves that country is log. You know, or any plane that comes in that country is log. So we should have all these things in place. I just want to make that clear to you that thank you for your research. And these are some of the things we need to discuss is our landhood. When it comes to the forest, we're getting an agreement with Norway to be able to manage our forest system, how the forest system should be regulated with the EU. It was 2014. We had an agreement with Norway. So all the agreement, we have all the protection, but they are not being executed. So I agree with you. These are the some of the things we need to.
So why are they not executed?
I will be lying to you. I can't tell you. They haven't since 2014. Since 2014 to 2024, that's 10 years.
Would they be executed now, you think?
Of course it will be executed.
Okay. We'll come to that. Mr. Sisse Goyat from what you say you want you
watch it from Belayala today.
I gave it a direct flight.
Now better yet when the research was done.
Don't use my money to your paper. Dr. Mali, I did not say anything for your research.
So, okay, let me set a ground rule now. Anyone who tries to be disrespectful to the co-host of this program, I'm sorry to say, you will. Sissy, you started this drama when you started tweeting. How were you? You brought this better yada thing here. So why?
I was just saying that the representatives and myself were going to Belayala to host our own to RLJ. We probably going to be Belayala. How you put on Dr. Mali?
You mean the real co-host?
Oh, you got reinstated? Dr. Mali, you got a reinstatement letter?
He's still fired. He not be reinstated. It's okay. He can't bluff out here tonight. The real co-host is Jerry Baker.
Okay, Sissy, let's hear you. Too much is ongoing.
We're too much going on, and at this point, the fear of sounding, don't care anymore. This whole thing with the legislature, somebody or some group have to stomp their toes and hit their head and get an epiphany. And maybe the brains get reset to factory mode. That the last time I said on this show, and I was quoting the representative, one of their own colleagues in the past, speaking about over 5 million people, and 73 of you get chosen to represent your brothers and sisters and grandparents. That should weigh heavily on your mind, that your individual gain or your ego should shrink. If you think about the enormity of that, 73 people got chosen by 5 million plus to represent over 5 million plus people. to make decisions on everything regarding their lives. And if they do it right, that extend to the lives of their children and grandchildren. We've lived with policies from past government. Firestone still were there forever and ever, right? LMC was there. LAMCO was there. Those were decisions that live on for a very long time that affected the parents and grandchildren and great-grandchildren of people who voted. How can these people not come to a point and say Liberia is bigger? Liberians' issues are bigger. We need to sit down, and some people got to go, you know what? If it were not for the Liberian people being it, you must not come and be into it, but I'll leave it alone and let's move the country forward. I'm tired of talking about the people foolishness, to be frank, because I don't know if any one of them have Liberia that much at heart to say, I know I might be right. I know I might be right, but for the Liberian people, I'm gonna do this. I don't know who's the elder in that room. I don't know if there is one of them. But Jared brought us something that I wanted to talk about real quick is the forest issue and the preservation of our forest. Look, global warming is a big thing. It's real. One thing poor countries have to understand is that we contribute far less to global warming, and we get the vast majority of the effect of global warming. When these big countries, and I'm talking America, China, and the rest of them, big polluters like India, do all of their pollution, they come to us and tell us now we should preserve our forest to make up for their bad behaviors. And so if you're going to tell our Liberian farmers not to farm in the forest, you will have to subsidize them. America does that to their farmership. If you tell my people in the big forest not to farm, are you ready to subsidize their living? That is one thing we've never gotten right. President, we are trying to do that at the climate exchange, and you try to ask for these government, these countries to invest in Liberia if they want Liberia to be a part of the solution. But I don't think there has been any serious move on that. I think this government has to do that. They have to be able to make their push. And not just in one speech, but it has to be a policy that if you want us to be a help in the solution to the problem that you've created overwhelmingly, then you must pay for the problems you created. We can't just keep telling our people to start farming because somebody in Indiana getting snow in July. We can't let them do that.
Okay, the conversation is in full swing. The house is packed. We'll be right back. Okay, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across country, right here in the USA and other parts of the world. The analysts are here this evening regularly every Wednesday to scramble on news, making headlines, all things considered right here this evening. We have the Washington wing, we have the independent wing, and we have the moderate here, a group of all different political backgrounds. Some of them now they say they're tired, they don't know what to say. These were the same people that brought these people on. You can't get tired. Every day we will come here, we'll talk. We
get no LPP person in the house that's against anything right now. All our members are voting for the Constitution. All LPP members of the House of Representatives are in line with the Constitution.
What happened to your room?
We ain't got nobody in the house, so I would know all of everybody in the house.
You compare, and you get nobody in the house, but you also put it for what's wrong with the broom? Okay, look, gentlemen, this is very serious. I think Dr. Mali raised a point here. And now, like Sister said, these people who are supposed to be the elders, the wisdom of our country, those people that we have empowered to make consequential decisions, here they are. So, God forbid, if there was any sort of emergency crisis here, with this sort of situation here, where were the coordinations? How would it even get to the Mr. President? This is what needs to be done. So they create a situation that they can manage. And here we are. And I guess these people's salary are going to still be rolling. It's serious. I think what is happening now more or less supersedes every other thing that is going on. The forestry, our mineral resources, because there are committees, both lower and upper house, people that are responsible. Those are people who sign these concessions and the sign. We don't go there. They just whatever do they pin down these things on all, and that's it. And here we are. They are all gone renegade, doing whatever they can do. They're paying her hotel bill 200 a day, 300 or whatever it is, and the thing is just okay. So, in the absence of them being in chambers, Dr. Marley raised a point because that's another growth of the economy. If all of these things are happening, how can these things be imposed? Because besides even the president taking decisions, some of these things have to be black and white. They gotta be laws. Laws gotta be because when you have the law on your side, then it's been enforced. But when there's a gentleman agreement, it's not a law. They are easily violated, and that's what we have been seeing from time to time. That's why it's happening now. So the liberal. Let me break it out. I'm not sure. Did you listen to Dr. Mali point? But before I come to you, let me just go back to Dr. Mali. Dr. Mali, now you, according to what your research is reporting, you are telling us now. Is there any recommendations to address the situation and to whom?
Well, here is my disappointment. My bone of contention here is this. Why is it that from government to government, now one government ever advocate or revisit some of the concession policy to say, look, this time we want a processing plan for gold mining or for iron ore or for timber. Now we've had a government that came on the mantra of change, and they are still going the same way other government went, allowing these people to take our resources out. So my question now is, why is it that no government has ever spoken against this thing? That, oh, it's about time that we have a processing plant in our country. It's about time for Firestone to have a processing plant. Why is it that people are not even advocating on some of these things, but we are allowing the people to still do business as usual, according to the Bukwa's concession policy all around there? So my question to the Washington tonight, why the rescue team have been talking about some wonderful things like the war crime thing, the assets recovery, then why is not even throwing its lenses on the issue of, hey, Firestone, going forward now, I want to revisit our concession agreement, and we are now looking into a different direction to have a processing plant in this country. Why are we not preaching these things? Why? And we just normal with it. We are just in a direction of going the same old plan. People come, sign contract, give money to government, pay loyalty, take your resources, and carry it. So my projection here now is between 10 to 15, 20 year time, things going to be very difficult in Liberia. Because I really don't see physically what all these people, there are about 13 of them in that town. But my focus is even on the B Mountain that is taking one of the rich mineral sources in our country, the diamond. Okay, taking it outside to a plant. So why can't we have a government to advocate for some of these things in our country? What is the problem? Is there any problem?
What a question here. You are directing your question to the Washingtons or what?
And I will be coming to the fiasco that is going on currently in the House. I think some of us are having misstep on this issue. You see, we are having a serious misstep on this issue because Kofa is now proving to be very unpatriotic. He's hijacked the democratic process in our country. He was never born with a speaker leadership tie around his waist. And when the people are tired with you, pack your bag and leave. And I will get to the nitty-gritty of this thing, because I learned the Supreme Court came in. The Supreme Court had even violated her own law. She had no business placing stay order on the first branch of government. All the Supreme Court should have done was to call this guy to conference behind closed door, sit down and talk. This is what the Supreme Court should have done. But these guys,
James coming here this evening again.
But these guys have become hardened. Their mind have become hardened because the issue is stay order. Okay, the Supreme Court got no business going in that direction there. Should I call the guy for conference and then sit down to talk?
Okay.
And it's a challenge to anybody to tell me which part of our Constitution that state that the Supreme Court can summon or play a stay order on a block that have broken away from another block in the house, and the folks to come to that hearing. I really want to see that constitutional provision. Thank you.
Jesus Christ. The socialists.
Your co-host has spoken.
Right now, something is trying to.
No.
Mr. Bago, you can pull forward.
CEO, don't you put to jump the gun. Wait.
No, I didn't say anything.
I can answer most of those questions when it comes to me.
I didn't say anything.
Mr. Bago, can you pull forward?
It's an overall question. So what I'm
So
going
you want
to
to go first? Hey, let's just take a crack at it. I was submitting.
So we're going to take time to spin against it. This guy is overloaded questions. This truck that coming from, is that Kolamu you coming from or where?
No, I visited Vahun today.
Okay, therefore, part of Vahun to Bon County now to Morovia is overloaded, so that's good. So we'll take a few minutes to do it. Who wants to take the lead? Sisse?
Let me go first, man.
Okay, for the independent guys here.
You go by your line, you are there going by, then we'll be jumping in between if you don't go by the order. Then
So you're welcome on the show first. Watching.
All right, welcome, sir. Welcome, Connecticut.
The Lpr, are you welcoming me?
Who are you?
Very good. Thank you, Lpr.
Very good.
after Mr. Dr. Jones is supposed to come to me.
No,
And I want to thank Mr. Dr. Jones for his reservation as to what he was saying concerning this concession agreement, which I fully agreed with him. And this is why the president had been going to other business meetings to see if he can get business people that would take interest into these areas. And as you could see, he was able to preserve one for the palm, processing. And we're looking forward to companies that will come and take on this initiative. But other than that, you cannot break up this issue when you do not have the provision made for these companies to come in. Well, I'm not a government spokesperson, but only my own reservation or my observation, as you can say, even though you will say Boashen, but I have no direct contact with government. I see it as a Liberian, and see what the Liberian people need is what we talk about. And as we've been saying here, this is the job of the people that are representing us. Like Sister said, it took 72 of them to come and represent the people of Liberia. Here they are coming out, to say they want to change their speaker. Fair enough. That's democracy. And I see no reason you will say that the speaker is not, that's not his position that he was born with. If anybody think that he can take the speaker off, Then they take the right process in taking him off. They have the right. If they can obtain the 49, they have the right. But you cannot force the man to resign his post if you have not gone through the right process. And besides, we're talking about why the interference of the what do you call Supreme Court? Who interprets the law? The lawmakers make the law, and they interpret the law. That's why they are working in collaboration. And who implement is sorry, is a make the law. The legislature go, no, the legislature make the law. The judiciary interpret, and then the government implement, and that's what it is. So they have the right to interfere if there's an issue concerning the judiciary. Oh my God, sorry. It's an issue from the legislature going to the judiciary. So there is nowhere that the law states that they cannot also interfere. Just how you say there is no law that states that they interfere. So vice versa. So except you tell me one. But until an issue can come out, then of course the of these issues come about.
Okay, so yeah, what we're gonna do, as you know, the house is fully loaded. So we're going to give everybody the chance to respond, so we can make our answers, our responses as brief as possible. You just wrap it in, or if something wrap can low tackle wrap, we can just wrap it up and get it going.
Okay. Stop there for now.
Yeah. So, Sissy, let me just, Keto has done spoken. Keto, let me just bring in Keto. Keto, what is your talking point? Or if you want to speak directly to Dr. Mali, that's okay as well.
Well, today, in fact, just this minute, I will probably agree with Washington, especially Mr. Sampson, the Labor tool that the real co-host is Jerry Baco, because I got shame just now for Dr. Jones. And I'm serious. For Dr. Jones, that would make me independent. For Dr. Jones to say the speaker is holding the nation hostage, not understanding the constitutional not understanding the constitutional implication that this issue has in our society. We are not running a banana republic, as you usually say on this platform. We are not running a dictatorial leadership in our country. This is a Republican form of government. We have democracy. And in our democracy, we have constitution. Our constitution is the organic law of the land. And that law provides that, there are due processes to every situation, especially legal case in our country. Secondly, in the House of Representatives, there are rules that govern them. For Mr. or the Dr. Marley Jones to sit on this platform and insinuate that the speaker is holding the country hostage, I said no. You are enabling a group of renegade legislators. You understand? You are enabling the group of renegade legislators that are sitting in a hotel and spending over $200 a night in a hotel, whereas the constituents or the constituencies are languishing in just poverty. And they do not even have the testicular fortitude to come out and say, look, we got to do something for our people.
Okay.
Why can't you say Kahuna? Why were you not on LPR? Why were you not say Kahuna?
Never, you are disrupting the program, please.
So for the doctor to say that, it just make me feel bad, because those guys are not doing good for our people.
Okay.
So
Capital,
another point he made was the value addition to our natural resources, and I agree with him in that. We have to start to implement or prevail on those people. Or first of all, even do our agricultural value addition. That is, if we grow plenty, we don't have to take the plenty and then make fry plenty. We can start making plenty
let's,
chips and
let's
baking
leave
it
it
and sending it
there.
to America to sell. We can
Okay,
start
let's leave it
doing other things, making steel right in Liberia to sell, making rubber plate, rubber shoes to
Thank
sell
you.
from our rubber. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's the beauty of this network. The diversities in politics and conversations is always visible. Sister, I see you plucking stuff that who's going where? Someone who is going wrong somewhere here.
Well, no, Dr. Male made a point, and actually, with respect to the issue on who's holding the country hostage, I think he has a point. It is his opinion that he thinks that the speaker does not have the majority, so therefore he should succeed. I think that is well for me within his purview. On the issue of the Supreme Court interfering, I think if the Supreme Court had called people to a meeting, that would be interference. The Supreme Court is sitting there, and there are two groups of people interpreting Article 33 in their own ways. And so because of that, one group runs to the Supreme Court that is supposed to interpret the law when there is a misunderstanding between groups. That is not interference. Article 66 of the Liberian Constitution says the Supreme Court shall be the final arbiter of constitutional issues and shall exercise final jurisdiction in all cases emanating from whether they come from courts or courts of no record, administrative agencies, autonomous agencies, or any other authority. Any other authority. There's somebody, there's a feedback. And so the Supreme Court is exercising its Article 66 constitutional authority. Somebody went to them and said, we feel aggrieved. It doesn't matter what branch of government that is. They have the right to say, we need to hear what the constitutional piece is. It happened with Tyler. They ruled in favor of Tyler, but Tyler could not hold the House. It happened with Snow. They ruled in favor of Snow. Snow could not hold the House. So the Supreme Court is not interfering. They are interpreting Article 33 because two groups of people are interpreting it in their own ways. Now, the last piece about the concessions. I get really tired when I hear Liberians refer to concession deals as bogus. Concessions are contracts. If your legislators ratify a contract, how does it become bogus? And we need to realize that contracts are laws. For example, Firestone, the Allen government in 2008 revised the Firestone concession agreement. They extended it up to 2041. George Weah government could not change it. Joseph Boakai government cannot change it until 2041. You try to do anything, that's lawsuit waiting for you in international courts. ArcelorMittal deals got revisited in 2021, revised. It was revised for 25 years. So the next time a government can touch that deal is in 2046. On the last issue about value being added, we have the National Standards Authority. For a long time, we have not had a standards authority with labs, like what my brother Keto is talking about, that can be able to do our plantations and say, we reach standards, therefore we can export. Because we have not had that, it's difficult for you to add values. And I'm reading that somehow there's been a lab being established right now for the National Standards Authority for folks to be able to do stuff like that, to add value to our products that we create in Liberia.
So this, and that's a good point here, because these 103 men and women, we empower them as our legal attorney by virtue of the positions being elected to those positions for 6 years, 9 years. I think that's where this whole freaking referendum needs to come into place. And I was so disappointed when the CDC tried to push that, it was defeated, to have these people to be there 9 years, 6 year, president 6 year. I think that's one of the main things we need to visit. But quickly, before I go to somewhere here, Sisse, you mentioned a part quoting the provisions where it feel the Constitution. Do you think, from the perspective of the judiciary, do you forecast that we are getting or almost getting much nearer to constitutional crisis? So there's a need that the Supreme Court intervene. Do you think that could be one of the aspects considering for which the place that stay ordered on this whole thing?
Well, I don't think it's about the constitutional crisis. It's about a party, a Liberian party, feel aggrieved and they ran to the Supreme Court. It could be like in anything else. You and I have a crisis, conflict, and I could go to the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court put a stay order. Even in this country, there have been laws that have been passed by several legislators in several states that various courts have put stay order on them. They put hold on them until they can make sure that it has not violated the Constitution or whether everybody is reading the Constitution the way it's supposed to be. So I don't think the Supreme Court is interfering here. I think a party went to them and laid a complaint. And so they have now the authority to intervene. Had they come in on their own and said, "By that can sit down, let's drink beer and let's talk about anything," I would have had a problem with them because we're not running the banana republic. When somebody goes to the Supreme Court on an interpretation issue, that is their place. They have to interpret the law.
Okay, Mr. Barker, let me just bring you here because the perceptions of people and the self-interpretations in our own understanding to suit our political curiosity to find on our side. One side is kind of like getting nervous why the judiciary is interfering. There's none of their business. This and that. Who you think, if you look at these two groups right now, who seems to be on the right side in the sense of having a settlement once and for all that involve a legal process?
You see, one of the things we are confused here is the Supreme Court is like my brother or sister said read about Article 66. That's a responsibility of the court. But here's the interesting part. The court have not even made a decision here. Who is at fault? The Supreme Court have to give a verdict. If they go before the Supreme Court, go for a hearing, and before the Supreme Court can make it. But right now we are preempting the Supreme Court. Somebody just come to you and say, "Papa, my sister beat me," and then you say, "Oh, that person guilty." No, that's not how it works. You got to go through about how the person beat you. Don't put it in simple English so that people can understand it. That's what it is. Somebody have gone to the Supreme Court and say, yes, what happened? This is what happened. But the Supreme Court, I think next week, I think on the 9th or the 10th or whatever day it is, they set a time for hearing. And based upon that, they will make a decision. Whether one of the parties, the Supreme Court, can say, "You know what, Mr. Kofa, you are in it wrong," or the majority, "You are in it wrong." So we have to stay and wait what the Supreme Court, what the verdict going to be, or the decision. They have not come down here. Even it will take more than time because sometimes, based upon the urgency, the Supreme Court can make the decision within that time of the hearing. They can make a decision and say, "Okay, based upon the urgency, we can make the decision within expeditiously on this time." But
okay,
let me come to that. Who is the chief educator on the thing? You asking the question. What is your recommendation? He made no recommendation. He went around from what? From Kipamas to Kema, from Kema to Buchanan, from Buchanan to Lofa County. That's not how it works. You're asking for the recommendation. You make a suggestion, you're asking for a recommendation. He made no single
allowing Lofa County no more. So please stay Lofa from there. He's no longer allowing Lofa County.
So what did you say?
He's a professor. He's a teacher. He's a teacher. You ask a student a question. This is a critical thinking, or critical analysis. And you ask him a simple question. What is your recommendation?
Jerry Bashan.
No. Is it do not do this to me, please? Do not come to. So he have a valid point, the issue that he brought up. Well, what is your recommendation? Then he said, what can I do? That is not what they ask you for. What is your recommendation to Mr. Boakai, Boakai administration? That's what you're asking. What you brought it matter, and it's a critical matter. I agree with him based upon his research myself. As we're here, I went and did some research, or I went and do this thing. But you're asking a simple question. What is your recommendation?
That's the same way when I asked you a simple question.
It's not so. Will you let the man speak, please?
You meet it. So, but yeah, Mr. Boakai, he went for me. Bapolu, when the crisis was going on, where the money come, he went there. He sent representative, and today is they put a hold on this thing. So this man has been proactive.
All right.
So please, So
Yeah, if people ask your question, you don't answer, you want to come pull somebody on the poll here because they don't answer simple question. Terry Collins, let me just bring you in here. You
Yeah.
know, three branches of government, they all have their functions and the work in all together jointly with their different responsibilities in order to make government a country to function. Now, the judiciary came in after one side feels that's the only place you can go for settlement, and they say, and Jerry Button quite correct, and just say, okay, since two people making plow and one person bring complaint, let's have a neutral way of getting this here. You don't go to this place here until we look into it. Now, that's a complete defiance of the judiciary, of the first branch of government. And they have gone ahead, going to sections and doing everything. Is that a violation if a calls to action to listen to this, their action being committed by still going into session despite of the Supreme Court state order? Could they get themselves into trouble at that point? Because the rightful people who are there to interpret the Constitution, they say, okay, you are making plans. Say, all right, we're not saying Terry, you wrong, Alfonso, you right, but you know what? Two of you shouldn't enter that building until further notice. And you decide to go there, or I decide to go there. If it goes before the Supreme Court, do you think the Supreme Court get a ground to argue then as well? And what could be their answer? Is there any violation here in the first place?
there's an
Yeah,
order
Mr.
put on
So I
the
want to.
House of Representatives. Let me get that clear. Did you put an order on there already? The Supreme Court order there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
I want to agree with Dr. Mali to some extent. And I think this is where we're going to have a fallout. The Supreme Court have the authority to put a stay order on a unconstitutional action, but they are, they are action of the House were following the rules. They have not removed the man. They decided to declare a vote of non-confidence in Fonati Gyapo. So in that venue, the Supreme Court does not have the right to put a stay order on them, stopping them from having a quorum. I could be wrong, based upon other opinion. From my opinion,
You're right.
if the Supreme Court could call, that was the representative, and the reason I'm speaking from this on the basis of precedent that have been set by the very legislature over the years to prove that Mr. Mali got a point. So the Supreme Court could have invited them to hear the matter, but you cannot raise a stay order before hearing the matter. So what are you declaring unconstitutional? What have you put a stay order on? You can't interfere in the legislature rule. The law says the legislature have the right to carve their own rule. They got their own law in the House, how to carry on quorum and do other things. They have the power to do it. So why didn't you put stay order on for that?
So Eric, quickly here, not to interrupt, why that laws are sort of in violations of the Constitution as well?
Which law now?
No, you said they have their own rules. So I'm asking, in the event of having your own laws, having your own guidelines, if it contravenes the Constitution, which is the supreme organ that governs us.
If the law contravenes the Constitution, the Supreme Court will have to hear the matter to declare that the action was unconstitutional. But give me chair number. You cannot put a stay order on something that you have not heard.
Oh my God.
So how do you think
the reason for a stay is for them to hear it? They put a stay so they can hear it.
That's my point.
Yeah, it's the thing. And Terry, you're going to make a point. We're not going to suffocate you from expressing your view. But the stay order here is like let's say we should have simplest form here.
The stay order is your way. Your way. Everybody hold your temper. Your cool down.
Let's say the house. Let's say the place is considered as a crime scene. When it's considered as a crime scene, the basis of investigators, they want to go in there to gather evidence. They don't want people feeding mar going in here and there because that will contaminate the place, will destroy evidence. Whether who shot who fired first, all of that will come into place, but they need to gather the evidence. So that's what the Supreme Court is doing. Say, okay, because the idea is a group carried, they did carry it on a complaint to say, this is what happening. The Supreme Court did not jump the gun to why people are doing this and say, oh, no, you're state. No, because somebody carried a complaint. Because when a complaint is filed, it has to be investigated. In order for it to be investigated, you have to maintain some sort of a neutral or some sort of level of stability in order to call the both parties. But in the process now, so my concern here now, and I'm reaching out to them to have both parties, the Mangibi's representative, Ellen Atto, who support COFA, has agreed to appear here this weekend. We're going to be having Friday to Grand Jury representative, who is a strong advocate of COFA. We're also trying to reach out to the other people here. Now they're going ahead in defying of the Supreme Court. Is there a concern? If they are right, what they are doing, and the Supreme Court to hear the case, why not, they exhibit that sort of high political tolerance since they are politicians?
Because the law says that another branch does not have the authority over another branch. These people are exercising on the foundation of the law.
Which law? Please quote that law for us. Which law?
The law says. The law says that these are three separate branches,
First branch
and
of
no
government.
other branch have authority over another branch. So the rules of the legislature.
No.
Hold on. We shouldn't
You have to change. I know you can't with your debunk or your thing. Let me just give my later. So the law says that is the reason why the Supreme Court does not have that. They are rejecting the Supreme Court, and this precedent have been set in the past. Not once, not twice, it has been said multiple times. All right, because the law provides that these are three separate branches who operate with three equal power. In as much as the Supreme Court can interpret the law, the Supreme Court does not have the right to interfere with another branch rules and regulations. Now, to the issue of something Dr. Mali said, and before Liberal are talking something about Thomas Fowler. Thomas Fowler have agreed. Thomas Fowler have acknowledged. He have acknowledged if these people were operating without unconstitutionally, Thomas Fowler would not have written them to acknowledge the black. But Thomas Fowler acknowledging the black, it means that Thomas Fowler understands the rule of the legislature. In as much as the Supreme Court put a stay order on the Supreme Court put a stay order on them, they still carry on quorum. And Thomas Fowler acknowledged them as deputy speaker. Is that not breaking the rules of the Supreme Court after the Supreme Court raised a stay order? But why did Thomas Fowler do that? Thomas Fowler understands the rules of the House, that the legislature is a separate branch of government. Now, to the issue that Mali raised, one of the problems that we have here about our country resources, your country get nothing. Liberia get nothing. You don't get nothing. Any investors coming to your country now, they come into your country because they know you don't have nothing. And they can exploit you, they can take advantage of you because you don't even have basic needs for your citizens. And they see these things. That is why they come in there. That is why they sign these bogus concessions agreement. And I want to agree with the people that say these concessions are bogus, because these concessions have not helped our people emancipate them from poverty. Look at the places these people are sleeping. And why these people cannot work in the interest of your people is because the people know that you yourself, you don't care about your own people. You don't get electricity for the people. They're not drinking good drinking water. They don't have roads. They get nothing. That the people got to put money in a pocket before they survive. That why those concessions, nothing will come out of it. You will run behind it. These are the things that people supposed to be protesting on in the country. for the legislature then to make sure that the concession agreement meet the standard for the people. But you're talking about, oh, did that. That is why we're having the problem that we're having, Mr. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
The definition of
Mr.
bogus
So.
is fake. You cannot
Mr.
ratify a contract and call it fake. That's what bogus means, fake. And those contracts are all legal contracts. They were ratified by your legislature.
Mr. So, there's something I want to share with you.
These are bogus.
Can I make some interjection, please?
Yeah, you will contact your mother, but let me bring in the liberals. You're gonna be. I know all of the barrage. The kitchen sink is coming at you. So just hold your guns, as you usually said. I say here, hold your guns to your chest, and let's see. Make sure you put on your bulletproof jacket. That's all, because the liberal is coming too with his own barrage of being ridiculous. The liberal progressive.
Thank you, Mr. So. I knew sooner or later you were going to be coming to me because I am the celebrity the biggest celebrity on your platform tonight. And so the people love me, you know that. So I knew you were going to come to me. So I'm not in any kind of rush. You can keep me in a bike for so long. That's okay. But let me just say this on a very serious note. On a very serious note, in terms of Liberia and the resources and things like that, when people are asking Liberia not to do farming and things like that, that I don't agree with. But this is what I want to say. Somebody who is involved in those sea level rise design here in Sacramento, in California, NOAA have put out some projection of the future. And if you go to NOAA, and I know Sissy most likely will want to be interested in that, so I have it here. If you go to NOAA, you will find out if you go in, they tell you what state. I couldn't find Liberia, but I know that since I've done some work on Tubman Boulevard, I know the elevation in that area. So if you do that within the next, from 1989 to 2021, I mean to 2001. Let's see, according to NOAA, they went up in the Los Angeles area.
Before the public thing, he said that Noah who built the ark, telling people what is Noah. For the public looking for the
Noah who built the ark.
Noah who built the ark. National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. But I don't need to go all of that. But anyhow, so as I'm involved with most of the bridges that we work on, they're now asking us to raise the bridge to a certain height so that you will be able to have, when the sea level come up, you still be able to have opportunity for people to pass their boat and things like that. Within the next 50 years, according to their report, sea level going to go up to almost 11 feet. 11 feet. And if it does, if that happens, the I don't call it capital, I don't call it, well, not capital, but Cali Hospital. That area from the sea level to that area is about 7-point-something feet. Okay, let's consider sea level to be 0. So if you come up, so the only higher place in Monrovia will be Mama Point, which is around maybe 17, 18, or 20 the most. Okay, so the point here is why we don't want our folks to not stop the farming and things like that. In Grand Yida, we're not worried about it. The sea level rise, not coming to Grand Yida right now, but we eat Grand Bassa, we eat Bon Cante before it comes to Grand, because we're way up in the stuff, Maryland. Everything will be underwater before they reach us.
What Bon
So,
Cante?
I'm just telling you. So we have to make sure we pay attention to these things here. They're very serious. So when they come to us, and I think what President we are, except they were doing it as being greedy, and they were trying to do it for their own pocket, but the suggestion to say you have to buy or invest, as they would say, invest in this country now, so that we'll tell our people not to do X, Y, and Z. But the kind of investment they were talking about, Samuel told them were putting a pocket up there to say, put the money in my pocket, and not in the people. And that's why we rejected those kinds of ideas. Now, in terms of, let me leave that one. Let's go back to this ridiculous statement from Terry, the pastor, this evening, and I will address that fully with no holding back on it. I am here now as a liberal. Terry, look, I am the political guru. You should have consulted me before you come in. The people, I call it the Supreme Court coming in. I told you that last time. I was hoping you would pick her up. They were invited. The Constitution separates them. They have what they call separation of power. I agree with you. You can't just get and go into other people's business. But the Constitution also specifically told us that the judiciary, their main purpose is to interpret the law. And whenever there is conflict that have to do with the law or the Constitution, you can't come to San Sinto because I like Flantigova. I will interpret it the way I want to see it. But these people are charged. And the fact that they were invited by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, it gave them the opportunity to intervene. And when they came in, they didn't come in like throwing a book at anybody. They said, hold on. Let's find, first of all, when they do the hold on, they gave in both sides to breathe to see if they can even have negotiation and come together and say, Supreme Court, we don't need you anymore. But if you can't come together and say, okay, we want to see what the Constitution or what the law that is being violated, for the Speaker inviting us, is the Speaker wasting our time? So they're coming in. Now, these people, the so-called renegade, for me, they are House of Representatives, but the so-called renegade, they got, on a very serious note, they got nothing to stand on. They have a legitimate point, though, of their resolution, all of the things they listed in that resolution. If they have gone through to say we want to seek the 49, believe me, if they go through that process, you will see some people that are in Kofa camp might be jumping ship. Addressing Tomofara going to the Tomofara letter is, let me say again, it's a means to let Supreme Court know, oh, I ain't here to violate any rule. So when Supreme Court come in and happy that Flantikova and people wrong, that the majority was right. Tomofara say, oh, but I respected their rule. I turn the thing over to my lawyer so my lawyer can guide me. That is the letter. Tomofara is not recognizing these people, and Flantikova will not resign. That pressure thing they did on Snow and on Motala is not going to work with Flantikova. Flantikova is not going to resign. So you gotta get out this thing here. Let people, whatever they're going to do, let them do it. Again, to the fan of the Liberal Public Radio, this is the Liberal, the most loved guy on this program. And I'm here to, again, as a political guru, I know many of you are writing and agreeing with me. That means I carry the day.
All right, Samson, please. We're talking a serious business.
Mr. So, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm a stab? You see, this is what you do. You want to control what I say.
Well, you're done with you have made your point clear, understood. So you don't have to people log.
Why you want to pick on what I say?
I see. Oh, you're getting the Liberal too much time here. We got to move on.
So who are you now to tell people to move on?
Co-host.
The man come in declare full of no confidence in your host tonight. They will see.
Okay, so Dr. Jones, let's hear you. I mean, the number is now 43. We want to keep you.
Yeah.
This barrage of picks on you, your whole kettle. Literally, I tried to decimate you here this evening, and all of that. You all back Jerry back on. He got his late feelings. He doesn't answer a question, but guess what? He did have to put it right back. Let's hear you. Let's hear you.
Yes, at times people who don't answer questions, they are quick to spot other people who don't answer questions, But this is the issue. And this is going to, and I want to congratulate Terry for making the point, bringing the point back home. But this is to Mr. Bako and Honorable Sisi and the Liberal. Let us be clear about this thing, okay? I agree with Sisi 100%. He has a valid point on Article 66. But let me take Sisi through a rear view mirror right now. Point 2 of that 66 says the Supreme Court has the original jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction, that's the key word, over cases involving ambassadors, ministers, or cases where a country is a party. Where a country is a party. The first branch of government
It says except. It actually says except.
No.
Look at that. It says except in cases involving.
No,
look at it. It says except.
It's right here.
Look at it clearly.
I don't know where you're reading from. I'm also reading the same constitution. Okay?
Let him learn. We'll destroy it.
No, you're giving me chance now. When you were talking, I have my gun to my chest. Even though you can answer question. Just slow down.
Answer question.
You hold it to your chest, you're not fired now.
The Supreme Court has original jurisdiction. That's where I'm coming from. You see, to look into cases, they specify the cases. Okay? So even if we say except, fine. Okay, let's bring in the except, as Honorable Sisi said.
No, if it's not there, don't say there. If it's not there, don't say there. If it's there, don't say there. If it's not there, it's not there.
No, listen. I was just reading conditionally, but it's not there.
Hold on. Do not allow Dr. Male, do not allow these guys to pressure you.
No, they're not pressuring me. What we're saying here is that the Supreme Court had just erred. They had no jurisdiction over the first branch of government. As Terry said, these are equal branches of government in the Republic of Liberia.
So quickly, let me get
no, coming now.
But you just said they get original jurisdiction. Then you said they didn't get jurisdiction. So which one?
Hold on one second.
I said the Supreme Court don't have original jurisdiction over the legislature.
Okay.
Besides that, they have their own rules.
Dr. Male. Dr. Male.
You interrupting
Hold
me.
on one second. No, we are having a dialogue.
You're not waiting to enjoy ourselves.
Oh no!
Those people were talking. You didn't interrupt them. Give me a chance. Let me learn.
Say something. I can interrupt anybody when you say something. If I need further clarification, not only me but for the audience, we need to give the audience the opportunity to so that we get affected. I'm asking because that's something very much important. The judiciary does not have any jurisdiction over the first branch of government. I want to ask: is there any exception in having jurisdiction?
There is no exception here from what I'm reading. No. Okay, so I'll continue. Yes. And it's clearly listed here the cases, ambassadors, minister, or cases where a country is a party. Okay? Issuing a state order over a branch of government that is as equal with similar authority. That's the reason why those guys sitting in the hotel don't want to listen to the Supreme Court. Because even if they don't listen to the Supreme Court got nothing to do. They can't do nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right? So what we are saying here is this. The Supreme Court, the issue of state order, those are constitutional jargon. It's not applicable to the House. All right? These people have declared vote on no covenant based on their rules. So if they want to go to the Supreme Court, they will go there by way of respect. The Supreme Court should have called this guy. Supreme Court have always called people behind closed door for hearing to settle things. Already, the Supreme Court have always done that. This is where I thought probably the guy would have respected the Supreme Court. Oh, gentlemen, someone brought a case here. So if the honorable embattled speaker felt that his friend were going the other way around and he got a case, sue that block, go to court, sue them.
Okay.
All right. He did not sue them. He launched a complaint. And I think for the Supreme Court, I'm coming. Give me a chair, oh man. and asking for the intervention to look into this case.
Okay,
Correct?
before we go to our first call out, we gotta
Yeah.
make it brief here. Is there any condition, possibly on top of your head, where the Supreme Court, be it the executive, the executive, the legislature, is there any possible scenario where you think the Supreme Court can intervene?
This is what I just said, and since they say well unconstitutional. This is what I said. Said his honorable speaker went to the Supreme Court and carried a complaint. All the Supreme Court should have done, call the guy behind closed door, sit down as a gentleman to talk, instead of putting up their legal armor, which has been misdirected, carrying on a stay order, which of course is wrong.
Okay.
When the people have already declared vote of no confidence in this man, based on their rules.
The vote of that was a secondary method to deploy after they realized, which of course they have the right to do. The vote of confidence is either against the person policy, the person where you're leading, if you have the number. But that was not their initial method, which of course they can change anytime. But let's get some reaction from our.
But then CEO, let me ask you this question. You know why they decided to ignore the Supreme Court stay order?
You tell me.
No, you're supposed to know.
Mr. So before you go to the line,
can we read the entire Article 66, please? Can we read the entire thing so we're not cherry picking for our audience?
Just hold your peace there. Let me get
you didn't read the entire article.
I'm not talking to you now. I'm talking to you. You land there. So I'm asking you.
I just corrected you. Please. You did not read the entire article. You brought a piece
but you misread the one you were even reading. You took out the keyword except.
The Article 66 is right here.
But you said except, then you came back and give it back to me again, Prof.
Yeah,
I will play a devil advocate's role for you just to satisfy you, but it's not there. That exception is not there. It's not there.
I guess somebody
yes, it's not there. So the Supreme Court stay in. It's still the stay in. They got no business.
They said they got somebody on the line, folks.
Can we have some? Yeah, go ahead. Make your point quickly before I go back.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So, and hello to the panelists. And to Mr. Mali, I'm also really looking at a home board tonight with that jacket you're wearing. So I want to say, what's up?
Yes,
what's up?
I can prepare for the labor.
Terry, I don't know what you did afternoon, man. My man, but all your points have been kind of off tonight. It's not like you usually you're off 2 or 3 times, but other times you're on. So I don't know why you on the wrong side of everything tonight. But like everybody is saying, the Supreme Court has the right to interpret the law. Anybody have the right to go see regents, at the Supreme Court. If the case is meritless and have no basis, it will be dismissed. If the Supreme Court tells you to go back to 742, effectively putting a stay order on things, you wait patiently for the final arbiter of our laws, and you respect the court. You're lawmakers. You should be the one leading the respect for the rule of law. You make these rules, these laws, and you expect people to follow it. How can they follow the laws if you yourself as lawmakers are not following it? So for me, I just thank God every day I wake up in the people country that I'm not here. These guys are not dictating what happens in my life. They're not making any necessary decision on how my life is going to prosper. So thank God we're in the country. Or else someone else would rather be suffering out of here.
Thank you.
For me, I'm taking a break off of these different political shows about this time and having a break. There's a hot mess. We thought it would have been better on the president point out that she's not showing any kind of leadership. You know, Obama was president, when the Democrats and the Republicans will shut down the government, the president will call both houses and have a conversation with him, have a conference with him. Why is the president not intervening as the elder statesman, as the president of the country? Why is he not intervening? Who said he can't intervene when these, representatives of the 2 houses are longer him? He's not intervening because he wants a specific outcome, and he's acting like he can't see it. He put his hand over the elbow, don't even know and nothing happening. So he already knows what's going on. He's playing a blind eye, lack of leadership. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much. Let's go to the other caller, and that goes right back to the line. That's we try to wrap up this evening. 203 number 52578. Are you there? What's your name and where you calling from?
Yes, sir. This is Saturday. I want to hear about on the show tonight. I think.
We're not hearing you. Yeah. Go ahead. We're not hearing you. You think
Are you hearing me now?
much better? Yeah.
Yeah, as I was saying, I said hi to everybody, and I said that the Supreme Court has a right to hear what is going on because the member of that branch complained, gave a formal complaint to the court. So the court is not overstepping anything. Once a member, which is the speaker, complain to the court, to the Supreme Court, then of course they have the right to hear what's going on. So that's all I have to wait.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're not taking a call. Let's hear your reading, and then we still have members to give. What's the reading?
Okay,
For me,
so because
okay.
I wanted to make sure I went completely through it. Article 66, as taken from the website of the Supreme Court. So that's judiciary.gov.lr, Liberian Judiciary. 66 says the Supreme Court shall be the final arbiter of constitutional issues and shall exercise final appellate jurisdiction in all cases, whether emanating from courts of record, courts not of record, administrative agencies, autonomous agencies, or any other authority, both as to law and fact, except in cases involving ambassadors, ministers, or cases in which the country is a party, except in all such cases, the Supreme Court shall exercise original jurisdiction. And here's the final kicker, the last sentence. The legislature shall not make any law nor create any exception as would deprive the Supreme Court of any of the powers granted herein, which is to be the final arbiter of law.
Thank you, brother.
All right. So the conclusion there, what I try to comprehend is that the legislature cannot. What's that? No, I'm trying to get my own interpretation to the understanding why you're right, even though I have to find it and read it myself.
From what I'm hearing tonight before the show ends.
That's not your business. Stay out of nobody fire anybody, and not you. So what I'm gathering here, it seems like from what I'm hearing here, the Supreme Court is saying, yes, you can function as a separate branch of government, but you cannot make any laws that supersedes the highest decision or the law, what?
Of the land.
You cannot make law to restrict the Supreme Court, right?
Including the House rule.
Okay, so yeah, because they can have their own report, you can't make a law that work. You will respond like you will come. Hold on, you will respond. Let's do it. Let's see. I think one of our regular men here for respect's sake, I gotta pick up this call here. Let's hear you. I believe Davis.
Hey, Mr. Sir, how you doing?
Good. Are you here to praise the liberal or what?
No, just a noble show. You know, you had to respect them when you are hearing this show. You know that.
Wow. Larry Davis?
He's a man of the day. He's a man, because we are.
Okay, you know what? I'm not taking no call again. Who the man of the day?
Mr. Toh is a man of the day.
Okay, bye.
There's a point I want to raise on here tonight. This show is hard to listen to. Sometimes there should be some disclaimer on the show. The talking of Sarah tonight, we support our Fonati Kofa. He said Fonati Kofa group have dished money to the U.S. today, that they will go to the hotel tomorrow to disrupt the garden. I think there should be disclaimer to this. I don't think it's fair to our democracy.
Right.
So if we are listening to that show, because if people that will, the interpretation that did all that tomorrow will be Lpr or radio. So I bet there should be disclaimer, and somebody may say that are not correct. According to the rule of the show, there should be disclaimer. Thank you, Mr. So.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good observation. Some of these things that comes out of these talking points, the country is divided. You see, Clarence, that's the danger of the Terry, the Jared Washington, the
Mr. So,
Mr. So they will say these things here, but
when I was speaking, I said, when I was speaking on that thing, I said this is a gossip. So I don't know why he didn't hear me or he didn't understand.
Why were you gossip talking for?
Because
said,
when he used the word God said, that means he has already.
Who call you when you start being a defense counsel?
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that's a form of disclaimer. That's what.
Yeah, that's a form of disclaimer.
Mr. So,
That it's a gossip. Because
Mr. So, they interrupt
I
him.
saw.
Your power don't work tonight. You're fired.
You got to justify nothing. Let's forget it.
Terry is understood. Let me go to my man. It's the co-host. Don't mind these guys. You know, that's the beauty of all. And when you read it, he threw Jerry back on all, and Jerry
he jealous of my title, and the title is consolidated. So let's go, Mr. So. The title is consolidated.
We are investigating the CEO for that.
I think what the CEO was doing. The CEO wanted to see the co-host enemy, and he saw them.
Exactly. I want to know who are those
co-hosts. You know you can be host, right? Co-host. You know you can be host if you get 4 on the side with you, right? You can have a vote of no confidence in the host.
This is what I wanted to say. The last part of the Article 66, because we are on a constitutional issue tonight. The legislature is not permitted to create any laws or exception that would take away the Supreme Court power.
Okay.
Right.
These guys that are in a hotel, they have not created any law.
Yeah, but in the hotel because of the rule of the house.
That is a part of the law, though. You read the beginning of everything.
No, that's the last one you just read, and that one that the CEO capitalized on, so I'm bringing it in. All right? These guys have created no law that will neutralize the Supreme Court or take the Supreme Court power. They have not done that. Besides, these guys have their own rules. All right? But let's ask ourselves, why are they defying the Supreme Court? Because the Supreme Court have erred.
Okay, so let's ask this question here. We got to settle it just once and for all. Where do you think vote can take place in order to have the speaker be removed? They can't do it in a hotel, right? Do you agree with that point?
No. There's a genesis here. You know why they went to the hotel?
So where am I?
No, you know why
they went waiting for the Exodus. He's starting with Genesis.
No. Yeah, everything has got a root.
No, what I'm saying is quite correct. They can hold their section everywhere, but what I'm asking,
so the people can remove the speaker. That's why they go on the side. They don't have the numbers legally.
CEO, let me get you the flip side. If the speaker had the majority on his favor, would not be talking all these things. You know that very well. Because they know they have the majority in their favor. And so they are operating as such. So then what is the problem here?
The problem here is, and that is where the speaker comes in with his legal mind, because he knows they have the...
Who speaker?
Who is the speaker?
This man is handicapped. He's in battle. The man is paralyzed.
You say battle, that's fine.
No, the man is a crippled speaker, but he's just speaker. He's in battle speaker, but he's just speaker.
Dr. Jones.
Speaker Cooper. No, agree with me that he's paralyzed.
Agree with him. He's forcing you to agree with him.
No.
But any paralyzed speaker?
He's not.
And battle speaker, that is okay. But do you agree with me that he's still the speaker?
No. Can you ask me a question? I said no.
No, you know what?
You asked me a question. I said no.
Let me ask you, who is the current speaker of the Republic of Liberia?
Well, we have the deputy speaker that has no stigma on him right now, so I think.
I said, send my cash out, I will vote for you. Send my cash out. You'll be the host.
I will convey emergency meeting right after this.
And what Terry said. Why is it that the deputy speaker have validated the guy position? Why? Have you asked yourself that question?
That's not a validation.
Oh, no, that your own
I don't think that's a validation, though. I really
the deputy speaker, and you know, I love the deputy speaker. He playing a very clever role. Why?
The
Why
deputy
he saying
speaker
that to those
communicated
people?
with a clerk, not with the block, but with a clerk. The letter was addressed to the clerk.
First of all, you know what these guys
Okay,
did?
in the letter addressed to clerk to say what to the block.
Oh.
He received a letter from the clerk, and he was responding to a letter to the clerk, to a letter.
Let me tell you, one of the
The
representatives.
man recognized the black of the majority.
The man recognized this.
Where did he read that in the letter? I read a letter. I read a letter. There's nowhere in there he said he recognized him. Nowhere in there. Who's pointed out to appeal that sentence to us?
He stated his colleagues.
Why it said that?
The post state legislature, they say his colleagues. The state legislature. He did not refer to them as black anywhere in that letter.
So let me make
have to.
we need to have some order in this.
I'm asking you a question, Sissy.
Dr. Jones, hold on
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah.
Coming. Let's have some sanity and people taking their time. We need to, there are some pieces of important, vital information missing. The guy, it was the acting clerk. It was not even the clerk and assistant. That is a violation. The clerk and assistant, they are elected by the lawmakers. They brought
What
in
is
an
the
acting man. What?
What the violator? Yeah. What article?
That's what I'm saying. Listen to me. What I'm saying, the letter coming from this, the letter from these renegade people is not from the clerk. It's from the acting clerk.
Why are you calling them?
Because they are abandoned this need to go in section. This is where.
But the letter is not about going to session. The letter is the recognition of the letter that somebody.
I'm not talking about what his name said.
I'm saying, why you're calling the people renegade? Then the in-battle speaker, he's not called in-battle speaker or paralyzed speaker.
Yeah, I passed my sleeping time. My people, I gotta go.
So let me just conclude my point. Yes, I agree. The speaker is in battle because normal business is not being done. But what I'm saying, when you have a minister proper in the town, you have a deputy minister proper in the town, and you go and grab another assistant minister who is a junior minister to execute executive authority of that ministry, that is a concern. So why they did that? Because the clerk and assistant clerk, they are elected by the lawmaker, not the person they brought in. That is another portion itself. And what we are saying, they have the right to what I do to declare a vote of no confidence in the speaker. But what we are saying, this thing must be done in section. You can't stay in a hotel. It's in that building. That's where the vote will be here. So if they know they are on the right side of history, why can't they go and lobby and get that argument and that they're going to be meeting in one group, and then they move from there, they say they come to section to do it. So why they can't go to the section? Why they can't go to the section? Why?
Because they want to paralyze the speaker.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
They want to paralyze the speaker so that he can resign.
I'm asking
the
question now.
But Mr. So can I just insert this?
But here is my question.
Can I read this real quick? Can I read this real quick?
So we'll go.
Can I just insert this? It says here, in Liberia, according to its constitution, based on the principles of separation of power, one branch of government cannot interfere with the functions of another branch. Each branch has its own distinct powers and should not encroach on the authority of another branches. But it also gave key points about Liberia government structure. 3 branches, all right? Check and balances. In check and balances, it says, like many other democratic systems, this separation of power is designed with a system of check and balances, and all of that. But if you
hold on right there. So check and balances. What is the executive? What is the judiciary doing right now?
The judiciary, yeah, it's part of check and balances. But the laws, it's part of check and balances. But they cannot. By the check and balances, that what Mr. Mali said, you can call the 2 parties to interfere. You can listen. You can listen
what
and then
people
you can
doing?
render judgment on basis of the
No,
action
that's not what they're doing.
if the law
They're
contravenes the
not what they're
Constitution.
doing. They're not what they're
What are
doing.
they
You're
doing
not
right
what
now?
it means. You put a
They're not
stay
what the
order.
Supreme
You
Court do.
over.
What does a stay mean to you? Terry, please tell what you understand about what a stay is. What a stay order is.
So
The
okay,
stay
let's
order
let's
is to
let's
put a
What is
hold.
a stay
The
order?
stay order, the
Mhm.
stay order is to
Mhm.
put a hold on what the majority black were doing.
It was not even
For
for one
them
group,
to-
or for the whole legislature. It was
are
for all of
coming
them.
now, are coming. Is it? Eh?
I'm sure you're not
It's-
bringing the thing to a close so
No.
you can go to sleep.
One thing real quick, Mr. You know, on this whole thing about interference, Article 42 of the Liberian Constitution. No member of the House of Representatives shall be arrested, detained, or prosecuted or tried for opinion expressed, right? But all officials act on, but when there is a felony, they shall be held accountable. Now, when you commit a felony as a legislature, you get tried by the Supreme Court, by courts, and you might end up going to the Supreme Court. Yet, that is the law. Even the Supreme Court, Article 72, talks about the House of Representatives can impeach a Supreme Court justice, which happened to Kabina Janet. So that is the check and balance. So there's the same check and balance they're doing right now to say, if the both of you don't understand the laws.
No, that are not check and balances. You in caution. You in
How are they in
Hold on. Okay.
Let me ask you,
Terry, let me ask you a question. Do you think
Jesus
of any
Christ, that is
possible scenario? You and Dr. Malley, do you think of any possible scenario on planet Earth where the judiciary can intervene?
Yes, I said it the last time on the show that the judiciary have.
Say it again today. Maybe we didn't hear you.
It's even here very clearly, right? The judiciary can declare an action that the legislature carry out that is against the Constitution. They can declare that action unconstitutional. They can declare the action unconstitutional. Like in the Kabina Janet case.
How can that be done? How can that be done?
But they have to call the parties to hear the matter first. They cannot just post stay order on because somebody can't give or complain from the house. Then you just post stay order immediately. No. You can't do that.
CEO, let me add to what Terry just said. He's saying something very brilliant.
That's my
we
point.
need to listen to it. And here is it. Terry, let me come to your defense. First of all, let's clarify the issue of stay order. A stay order is a court order that temporarily halts legal proceeding or the action of a party. Right. They didn't say a totality. They didn't say the whole house. A party. A stay order, listen. A stay order can apply to a part or all of a case. And it can be
all of a case, which is everybody involved.
Coming. And it can be limited to specific proceeding.
Such as what?
Such as waiting until we hear your case.
I'm reading now. You give me chance. You people are shooting the gun in the wrong direction. You give me chance. And it can be limited to specific proceeding. They didn't state the proceeding yet. Order or other phrases of the action. So a one block has sent a complaint there. So the complaint they said that they decided to place state order, which is a legal tools, on another block. Okay, that's wrong.
It's not
wrong. I would say, CEO, I know.
Mr. Malley, you just write your own definition. You went away from AAD Pro.
I said, listen now, someone carried a complaint, and the Supreme Court, instead of calling for a gentleman conference, they decided to
the Supreme Court is not in the business of calling gentleman conferences. That's not a Supreme Court business.
They say you got to hold your peace. Let me learn. We are interpreting the Constitution here tonight, and we're going to interpret it to the bone. However, when the man carry his complaint, what happened?
By the time we get to the bone tonight, someone will be slowing on the show.
All right? So they decided to place state order on that other group. Now the two group, all right, and the group said they're not going there. The Supreme Court can't do nothing about it, even if that group don't appear.
So
nothing they can really do.
So
it's wrong. The Supreme Court has erred.
So, Dr. Mali, are you telling us the stay order placed by the Supreme Court is restricted to the Cookers and his group? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, they place it on another group, of course. Yes.
Not only other, it's everybody.
No, oh man, I said, ain't asking about my, ain't asking about my view.
But then why Fanatic
And the
Kofa
Supreme
is
Court
now.
still
Wait a minute.
why Fanatic Kofa still
carry my,
having session?
you
And
carry
the Supreme
complaint.
Court interfere with the executive.
I come in now.
So why Fanatic Kofa
you
still
carry-
having session? If the court,
you
if the
carry
stay order
complaint,
were on the both black,
You carry complaint.
why is Fanatic still having session?
Place the order on the other block. Why that other man who carried the complaint, he said turning around doing this and
Why
that.
is still having session?
The Supreme Court has
Okay,
aired.
we are way over the time. We are way over the time. Hopefully, we are about to make
Another brother who weapon they went away from you, so I will leave you alone.
we are about to
So,
make
I mean, we are
yeah,
oh
we are about to
man,
make a
the
closing
Supreme Court
statement.
got to
And,
go by and
please-
change this thing.
Okay, let's hold our peace.
I can't wait for the executive to say Supreme Court get no ruling want us to because we are separate branch of government. And I see what you always say.
Hopefully this weekend we have two lawmakers,
And to be frank with you, if they go to the Supreme Court and listen to them, it's by way of respect.
Okay,
But they're not supposed to go there. They're not supposed to go there.
By God's willing,
You
this
muted.
week we'll be having two lawmakers.
You muted.
And I'm coming to get both sides.
Terry, I said the day podcast said he accepted Supreme Court ruling. You were supported because a different branch of government to the executive.
Let's 1 more minute each.
No, I'm never
Can I
Hello?
be the first
Hello?
one?
Hello?
See,
No,
I got
hold
one
on,
question
one
for
second,
you.
hold on.
Why is it that Kofa don't want to resign for the sake of stability in our country? Why they make him
Keep
resign?
that question for your closing, Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
No more closing. We above 15 minutes now. No more closing.
Mr. So can I just do my closing?
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
So there's something I wanted to read, but I didn't have. But let me just read it for my closing.
Yeah.
They say in Liberia, the Speaker of the House of Representatives can be removed, but it requires a thorough. I want you to underscore the word thorough. Thorough, underscore that word. Process to ensure it done lawfully and not based on self-interest. The Constitution outlines that the Speaker can be removed by 2/3 of majority of the House of Representatives or House numbers. This means that at least 49 of the 73 representatives must vote in favor of removal. It is essential to note that the removal process should follow the established constitutional guidelines to prevent arbitrary or self-serving decisions. The House rules and procedures also provide guidelines on the removal process, emphasizing the need for due process and fairness. And this is where Fanatic Kofa went to the Supreme Court, so the Supreme Court can come and interpret the law to our legislators who are completely disgruntled, they are uninformed, they have no substance in this whole legal thing. And being Mr. Kofa is a legal luminary, so he went there and said, "You can, because I cannot interpret it for them. They against me." The bigger court in the land, the Supreme Court, they'll come and tell the people what due process is. And when they go,
we are out of time. Terry, back on. Who wants to go?
I think Mr. Bacon can go because he's been quiet. Then after him, I will take it.
Well, because I get a bone share. That's why I know. I've just been quiet. That's
What bone share? I know you feel here where they make you laugh.
Now, Mr. To, who saw you now? You get
And
bomb
Mr.
shell.
To,
I see the
I hear Lpr do that in there. That Wednesday, yeah.
Okay, let me go. Let Mr. Bacon.
But yeah, you are. That yeah, you are. Compose myself. Yeah, you are. Talk about Mr. Boakai. Talk about Mr. Boakai. About agriculture. How the man is amused or is muted. Yes, the man who went to the agriculture food forum. Who's seeking? Well, come here. Talk about,
Actually, I heard you say it 5 different times.
Sensei.
I that too.
Can he make a closing point so we'll go, please?
Talk about food processing, how we'll say our chamber, whatever you want to do. But yes, I think Mr. Booker is working hard. You know where you were at? You were in Bombing County yesterday. Yeah, try to see the midwives.
Yeah.
Try to develop college people, at least some of the people who have not gone to school, for them to be professional people, to be paid on a higher wages. So the president is working. Today he presided over the LPMC. So these are progress you are making. But all this in there, you just want to throw under the bridge. But stay tuned. Mr. Booker is doing good. He's not even going to pay attention to Tabata. He focused. The eyes. The train is moving. It's supposed to be moving in that direction.
The train saying, bro.
You look for
But CEO, let me just add to what Mr. Bago said. You watch the video where the LPR boss was standing by the tree and the
tree was moving. The closing on or
I'm done my closing.
Yeah.
The
tree was carrying the rescue goose. I think they took it down the next day.
So to the point, thank you very much, Mrs. So, tomorrow I look forward to see 2 major things. I look forward to see whether if Honorable or what he means, Thomas Fala will again send a letter or will be sitting tomorrow. That is what I'll be looking forward to see. If that does not happen, then I will believe that Honorable Fonati Kofa is getting late light. I will also be, because if Thomas Fala said, because I see the government trying to play a very deceptive game, looking at these guys, since they have not been able to fully have a quorum because the presiding officer is not presiding, apparently this is why the government decided to send a budget to Fonati. But if Thomas Fala do sit tomorrow, I would make my conclusion that the honorable man Fonati Kofa just need to resign. But if that do not happen tomorrow, I want to believe that Fonati still have hope. So I think this was a good show, and I accept everybody's view. Some people here blasting at me, Esther and all of that, but it's okay. Thank you very much for the show, Mrs. Su.
Don't cry, it'll be okay. Don't cry.
Okay, Mr. Koya? Mr. Koya.
Oh my God.
Yes. Because when Terry in the things that he can be crass.
I tell you, I'm not going to cry. My sister, my big sister Esther here, blasting at me, and that is in the comment. For labor, I never see Esther for labor before. This is my first time.
My closing piece.
Sorry, you are drinking Yuzu?
They play with me tonight. Esther, you play with me tonight.
Oh my God.
So, but in closing though, I think Terry made a point in the end. It will be a watershed moment if Thomas Fala breaks. But here's the problem: if Thomas Fala breaks, a lot of things will break. You'll be breaking the mandate of the CDC, and you'll be going directly against the mandate of former President Weah and Mr. Cole, who is the party chairman, that have issued directives to members of the CDC. So I will wait to see that. But in final closing, Article 33, the misinterpretation of Article 33 on both sides, the reason for Article 66, that's what the Supreme Court got involved.
Okay. The Liberal Progressive. You don't want to be on top of my co-host.
No, that's not even going to happen.
Thank you, because the co-host you put him last so that he will borrow ideas from all of us and try to bring that in as though those gonna be his own research. So we're not gonna accept that. We'll give it to him. He can do the better yada research here again tonight. That's fine. But let me just say this here. I want to say 2 things here very quickly. The first thing is those who believe that those of us that supported this government that came into power, that now we should we find ourselves to be regretful, ridiculous. What else do you expect out of us? President Weah and President Wakai, and you want us to go and support someone that we all know, we all saw, squandering the people money, doing things that were not right by the
That's not a
Liberian people.
conversation.
I mean, will you please? I'm doing my closing. And you want us
why
to
you
turn
choosing the
our
topic
back
here?
on let me finish. You love President Weah, business. Yeah. You want us to turn our back on a train that we all know has the ability to rescue us and go back to someone who put us in a hole. That was unconstitutional, and I don't know what part of the Constitution it is, but I'll say it anyhow. That was unconstitutional, and it's also
That's a piece of power. It's under the Constitution.
In the appendix. In the appendix.
Piece of power. It's in the Constitution.
Exactly. So we refuse to do that. Now let me go on to Tomofala's situation tomorrow. If Tomofala goes, which he's not going to do anyway, Tomofala, he's a young man. He will not try to break himself away from CDC. He struggled too hard for CDC, for sure. And he's close to President Weah. He's close to Kofa. They will not abandon Kofa. That I know. So Tomofala will not go to those people tomorrow. I know that. Now, even if he does, Planty Kofa will not resign. Planty Kofa, even if it means, unless, but how are you going to impeach the man unless you go to the House of Representatives? There's nothing else in the Constitution that allow you to remove Planty Kofa except to go and have a 49. Now, the 49 can come about. If he doesn't have a Planty, what's his name? Fala move over there with them, then that's government. And even President Weah and other people will not pressure the other folks to make the 49 and remove Planty Kofa. Planty Kofa is not going to resign. So, Mr. So, look at this. 10 minutes outside of the show. But anyway, as the largest celebrity on this platform, I come into your platform to make it more viewable by the folks. Say. The representative from Bon County, he spoke some word, I think yesterday or today, he said Roman rice. But I couldn't find that in the dictionary.
Yeah, but I want to say the man Booker lost the legislature.
Yeah, Roman rice.
But Libra, why not call the man?
What
was your response? What did you do?
But anyway, thank you for the show. And my Esther, my Fatuma, the Libra is still here. He's well loved all over the world, even in Monrovia. And I want to say thank you very much for the opportunity. Good night.
Can you wait until the co-host make a final statement, please? You can't disrespect the co-host of that. Come on.
No, but CEO, the result was anticipated, so no problem. But let's look at it from the other lens, CEO. Assuming His Excellency President Barker had come into this issue and said, "Oh, gentlemen, I'm inviting you guys to a breakfast meeting, for all to sit down and see sense and what's going on in this thing here." He had not violated no law. But assuming His Excellency came out, he said, "Oh, by executive order, Speaker, breakaway faction, you can report to the executive mansion here for this thing that's going on." That's violation, you see. So what I'm seeing here is that the Supreme Court would have just invited these people. I mean, we have the tradition, we have human face to our politics in Liberia. And the human face is that sometimes you get down there, and try to flex things down. And this is where I am really coming from. Okay? Because what is going on in Liberia is not healthy at all. Lastly, to address Mr. Bagon's question, he said I didn't answer the CEO question. I know the CEO forget to tell me that, but he came to tell me
And
that.
the other thing what he said about the president, he's saying my address I want to.
Mr. Bagon, the answer here is this. The answer here is that we need to have a processing plan in Liberia. But since I said we have a lot of concession rule and these are all legal instruments, I agree with him. You temper away, you go to court. But I would want for us to temper away and let's go to court. So this time now we're approaching this thing differently. Our resources continue to go in our country there, and I really don't see the people really benefiting, to be very frank with you. And 10, 15, 20 years from now, I don't know. So one of the solutions now is to place a moratorium on one of the resources here, the diamond, especially the diamond. Okay. And love now be speaking the language of we having a processing plan in Liberia for some of these things. I have never heard anybody say these things. Everybody just contented and comfortable with the people taking our resources, going to process it, taking our resources, going to processes. And under this government, I thought we were going to be speaking some of these things, you know. I thought we were going to be seeing some of these things, at least for the first time. Say, look, be mounting, we'll work with you, we'll sign a contract, but we want for us that we want to the processing plan for our diamond. We want it not test the water and see. I think this is where I'm coming from as a solution.
Thank you.
Thank you, CEO.
If anybody looking for a co-host, I'm available, yeah, because nobody want me to be a co-host. So I'm running my campaign. I get cash out. I will send some money out.
Now I see who all want my job.
They're not going to get that job. Trust me. They're not. These people, they're not going to get that job. Then you go to something. If you're looking for that job, that's for that. I was telling you my Zelle number when you send something, then we can talk about it.
No, but CEO, I was even surprised.
I go through a third party.
No, but CEO, I was even surprised. I thought Mr. Bagon, he been feeling around that job. I see him quiet. You don't want to be with a labor again.
I went to her, I drank beer, I ate fufu, everything I want for nothing. No paper, we didn't make paper, so you're not getting it. Let's stay with labor.
I'm sure Mr. Bagon don't want to be with a labor again. He's tired.
So like I said, Friday, Representative DB going to be here, and between Saturday and Sunday, I'm still arranging Representative Ellen Atto of Mangibi. Going to be here. We can have that conversation, and let's see. And I'm trying to get somebody from the Kokasa as well to get their counterpoint. It's fair to give everybody the view, and that's it. Guys, thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening.
So if the guy comes in on Friday, we're all going to be here to be part of the process, right?
I will determine who to be and not to be.
Everybody will be here, but with the exception of Libra.
Thank you. I agree.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Keto, for supporting.
You myself will be together at a hotel talking about, hey, we go to the I see you, man.
Good day.
California hotel or where? Oh my God.
Good day, guys.
All right. Jesus, I see what the problem in our country. Because the problem is right on our own feet. That's Dr. Mali. He said he doesn't see anything where the judiciary can intervene. So it's like everybody can kill the hell out of one another in our country. Nobody should stop anybody. Well, that is I think for sure I'm not. What his name? This guy, Tifa. I do not think he really grabbed the picture, the move of these guys, and that's why he was kind of a little bit hanging. But he sees the danger that in it now, so he tried to put his acts together. Well, folks, we want to thank you so much. All we can do is to give these sort of critical conversations. Of course, your views, your opinions does matter. We can't trash anyone's opinions. Everybody has the right to digest and think it the way it should be in their own understanding. But I think going to the Supreme Court is the one that interprets the law. So ultimately we will see what happens. We want to thank you so much for your time this evening. By God's willing, so we're going to be back here, John the Liberal Progressive, and then by Friday evening, I will be back here with another edition of the program. Alexander Boniface, thank you so much. Esther, Mrs. Frederick, thank you so much, and all of you. Again, we always put it out there. If you want to be part of this conversation, to contributor, analyst, whatever it is, you have time, let us know. We'll send you the link and we can have it here, because this is about the country. It's not about us, and we must give a fair balance. In as much we would not want to hear what people say, other things we disagree with them politically, but they are entitled to their views and their opinions, and that's what a country it should be all about. We shouldn't just hear from one side and be judgmental and say, "Oh, this side is wrong." Where we've been saying, we saw videos, money being displayed. I'm not going to be judgmental, and that's why I'm really working to get to them, to let them answer. And one of the person on the other side is Jeremiah Gao Sokan, who is also the representative for District Number 1 from Grangeda County. He accepted our invitation, but we're going to work out the modalities at the time. So the key question here, now LACC is looking to it, but LACC today, and other people say whether they can be trusted, that's a different ball game. But I really want to know, it's been widely reported that money was infused into this whole process of removing the speaker. If that was the case, if that is the case, if it is proven, as investigations should be getting underway or have started to invite some lawmaker by LACC, that would be a fascinating one as well. So waiting to see, we will give it time and see what it looks like. But this is not good. We can't have our country to be running the way it's running. What happens when there's an emergency? People are not in sections. How we expect them to make decisions for the country. Have a pleasant evening, and by God's willing, we'll be back here. John the Liberal tomorrow, and Friday I will be back here with more programming. Until then, thank you so much for your time.
El profesor